Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be talking to Claude of X10. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce the launch of our new website at adultsitebroker.com. We've added some enhancements to the site, such as FAQs and a complete new platform. The look and feel of the new site is nice and up to date. The new site also has links to our marketplace and affiliate program. Plus, don't forget ASB Marketplace, the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. ASB Marketplace allows buyers and sellers the chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when ASB Marketplace gives you this service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or as a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage, where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to offer for sale an adult pay site discount and review platform. The site offers top discounts to the hottest networks in adult entertainment. In addition, they offer full-length scenes to these sites so surfers can sample the content. Also, these scenes serve to keep the visitors engaged longer on the site than the traditional review site. They offer outstanding prices to adult networks on behalf of their visitors. The surfers on the site will be hard-pressed to find a better price to their favorite network, including the Evil Angel, Adult Time, Brazzers, Bang Bros, and just about every other top adult network and site. They've been growing their email list since 2020, and the list has grown to over 2,000 in the past 6 months. Their unsubscribe rate is in the low single digits. Their free porn section is growing, and they currently have roughly 150 scenes. Their traffic has been all organic until recently, but now they've started paying for traffic as well. This has boosted their ability to grow their email list and get return visitors. You can buy this outstanding discount and review platform for only $956,000. Next Monday on the Hanky Panky podcast, Coral and Jewel will interview intimacy coach and author Sir Ezra. You can find the Hanky Panky podcast at hankypankypodcast.com and wherever fine podcasts can be heard. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Claude of X10. Claude, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Trying to stay cool. It's in the middle of the summer here. It's got to be over 100 degrees for the last month or so every day. Feels like anyway. So yeah, it's just trying to stay cool.
Well,
stay indoors.
It'll be cooler by the time we run this because it's going to be towards the end of September or so. So hopefully you'll cool down.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll cool down by then. Now let's tell everyone about you. Claude has spent over 20 years in North America building websites for both the adult and the mainstream industries. He started working with some of the pioneers of the adult web back in the early 2000s, building custom CMS platforms for some of the first adult websites ever launched. He developed new ways to automate photo and video content and caching systems, as well as introducing the first recorded and live video streaming platforms. Claude has developed and deployed thousands of adult content membership sites, video on demand, live cam, and many other types of adult and mainstream websites. Now, Claude has also worked in the mainstream and the adult space with virtual reality implementation, smart TV, and mobile app development. Claude's hunger to find new solutions and innovate new ideas has always driven his passion for new technologies. He's run a very successful business for more than 20 years and has been instrumental for thousands of clients to reach their goals of launching and deploying their adult or mainstream sites with a focus on scalability, monetization, and usability. The company is based in LA and Amsterdam. Now, X10 Revenue at x10revenue.com is almost a year old. It's an accumulation of 20 plus years of adult experience and combined 100 plus years with their team of programmers, designers, and marketers. X10 Revenue licenses exclusively the X10 platform, x10platform.com, a 3-in-1 content management, live cam, and fan platform. It's an enterprise-level platform with over 18 years in real-world deployment and use. X10 is a multi-site solution running from one admin to deploy thousands of membership, cam, video on demand, and hybrid adult business models, all from one content pool. X10 Revenue also offers SEO marketing services and automation services to promote any adult site, no matter what technology they're using to manage their websites. And I recently have had some demos on the platform for a consulting client, and I've got to say it is quite impressive. Now, Claude, besides what I just mentioned, what is X10 Revenue?
So X10 Revenue is a culmination of, as you were saying, 20 years of experience in the adult business that I've had, and basically coming from a point of trying to solve the unsolvable. This is where I've always made my niche. Something that's always driven my passion and what I like to do is to figure out what someone else hasn't figured out yet. So as you'd said, I came from a background of the innovators of the web, which were video and figuring out how to get video live streaming and things of that nature for the first time to the end user, and always trying to figure out how to make these things redundant, how to make things to be, to work across all different platforms, and how to make it also the most important of everything was how to keep retention and how to convert. Sure. And those have really always been the same things. And so when we talk about the web today, and things like TikTok and all these newer platforms, to us newer because of course I've been around so long, for me, all I see is just another interface, a better interface than the last interface, or a better way to say the same thing over and over again, and ultimately just another way for people to monetize whatever they're talking about and whatever content that they're creating, in order to make it the most efficient way to get A to B, basically what I create from the creator to the publisher, and everyone becomes really their own creator and their own publisher. So the X10 platform, as you had said in a very long and detailed way, which I appreciate very much. You and I have known each other for many years, yes. many years. Yes. And the culmination of it was that, again, solving the unsolvable. So why go and run WordPress, or run a CMS, or run a live cam platform, or run multiple membership sites, or custom make membership sites? So coming from a background that I have of custom making and spending $500,000 to over $1 million, and some of these sites still running the same platforms today that I was initially a part of, to create something that is modular, easy to use, turnkey, and that requires no programming, and you're able to just basically decide on what business model you want to run for what kind of site that you have. So one being the fans platform, which is basically a kind of an OnlyFans clone, but also, again, being the kind of person I am, and the team I work with, making it to the next level. So what is it doing? But then let's take it to the next level. What are the things that what is it doing, and what can we do to the next level, in both in the usability point of view, but also in the monetization options. So not just have a membership for models, but also have things like paid messaging, or group messaging, or interactivity and usability, and giving the user the sense that they're buying into a single profile, even though it may be run by a agency, or it may be run by an individual model, or in any case, it's about the interactivity and having constant feedback from the model to the user and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The CMS, of course, is a membership CMS, which is similar to very traditional adult CMS. Basically, content is protected or not protected. So you have trailer content and you have protected content, both photo and video, digital download, those kinds of things. Things that are very much either selling clips or selling photo sets as zip files, or selling content that is protected or not protected. And then the other one is adding into that, of course, the video on demand concept, which is pay-per-view and pay-per-minute, and limiting time on content where it expires after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the CAM system, which just adds on to that all of the other modules that I've said, but also allows you to go live and do pay-per-minute and tips and use a live CAM system that's almost like nine years old now. But we've added it into and combined them all. And what we did in the last year is we redid the entire back end and front end of our platform to make it scalable, to make it more secure and more user friendly. So working with my team, that I've proudly been able to kind of reinvent the way that the whole front end looks to the user side. So the entire user side has been redone, and then the model side, which was really the most important to everything, which was how do models upload content. How easy is it for them to upload on a mobile or a tablet device, or a computer with different screen resolutions, and do things make sense the way they are? So, and is it intuitive? Is it easier to use, or does it require someone to go in and manage that? One of the things that have changed for us, that I've noticed a big shift in the last few years, has been the shift from old school, the administrator owns content, they purchase content, they make content, they create content, and that administrator buys our system, licenses our system, and spends days, months, years building their website, their brand, and we train them on our system. And even though our admin is very has over 146 items in it, we try to make it as simple as we can. But I'm a very big techie, so I put everything in the kind of in the kitchen sink when it comes to what I want to give feature wise. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that kind of comes back, because then it ends up being so complicated, or at least seeming so complicated, because there are so many choices, and our manual is over 600 pages, right, and counting. So the shift, as I've said, has been almost all our clients now. The admin is really just used as a way to check revenue, to pay models, but all the magic, all the content management side of things is all done on the front side by the dashboard that mm-hmm. the model mm-hmm. has.
Right.
And that's really what's changed, and that's why we shifted all of our effort into how do we make the model dashboard be really the primary focus, because that drives the model drives the revenue, they drive the traffic, and the traffic drives the income.
Okay.
That's the real shift of what's happening in these days.
So how is your company different from others that do what you do?
Again, our team has been over in the 20 years of making, so we have 100 years combined expertise. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we take our marketing arm, and we take our technology arm, and we take our SEO experiences, and really it's as I said, it's the combination of all of this knowledge being brought into what our clients have requested. So, for example, we just added an automation module, mm-hmm. and the automation module that no one else has, and it's been it's gone very well and received well, is that the ability to automate the publishing of content from our platform in any of the different business models or hybrid business models, be able to upload them and then be able to publish it out and syndicate it all the way out to, say, Pornhub or Clips for Sale, or any social media, in almost instantaneous, or in most cases almost instantaneous, saving thousands and thousands of dollars on all of the on the time that it takes to actually do that stuff manually. And it's more than that, because it's, again, thinking of it the way that, how do I make money? How can I, as an owner of this licensed system, who has a domain, has a logo, has content, make money by publishing out into the world without having to create, this is really the crux of what you're asking, is why, how is it different? How are we different? It is that we, first of all, we really cater to a different, higher level clients. This is why you said enterprise level. When you talk about multi-site and you talk about multi-language and multi-currency and custom theme design, you're talking about a scalable system. We have one client who has 115,000 active users and over 56,000 active models that go in and upload every day. Wow. This is the scalability level that we deal with, and has 20 different sites. And does nets. I mean, basically everything that you could ever think of, they are doing. And I guess that's kind of what you have to do these days. In order to compete, you have to be trying to do everything that you can to pick up money in every way you can. Right. I think that's the difference. And so the marketing arm is the search engine optimization that we can do. Again, another team that we have. Some of the guys that work with us on that side of things have worked with some of the very top review sites for adult, porn review sites and those kind of. So obviously they understand, and even some of the tube sites. So they really understand how to get SEO on top of the top ranking, and they know our system, and then we've created modules within our system to make it very easy for them to go in and make those changes, to make those to optimize in those ways. And the other marketing arm is really the what has come to bear. You and I didn't even have this conversation. It's actually come to us. Epoch is sending something to everybody now that says that you cannot just upload content and let the models run everything. You have to approve their content every single time. And so this is something that MasterCard just came up with. I'll send you the link after. It's just something that, so now we've had to, again, adapt with this. And you can say, well, I can go to Bitcoin or I can go to something else. But ultimately, at least today, it's still Visa, MasterCard rules everything. Sure. So knowing that, we have to basically make adjustments in our system, which we've already done in most cases, to turn that on so that it can get compliant. So basically, it does create more work for someone else, and we have a whole team of people that do that kind. We call it marketing too, but it's really more marketing and publishing, help, and that is something that we can also offer as well. Where nice. if you're stuck, every solution has a problem, Bruce. That's how we look at it. I've always enjoyed. As you had mentioned in my bio, when innovation is the key. Yes. So we know everything is always moving along, and a problem creates a solution. So MasterCard says we have to do this, and now we have to make those changes. So those are the things that are coming down the pike. I don't know if every billing company is going to do that, but I know that I've been trying to get some real merchant accounts for some users as well. They don't like the word fans. They don't like to have the idea that they really. I've heard that. The idea is. Yeah, the idea is that I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, I've heard that they don't like the word fans.
Oh, you've heard that. Yes. They don't like fans, right? Which is really crazy, right? Because it's just a word.
There's a lot of crazy in the world.
Yeah, there is. So that's just new recently. I mean, I've literally got an account activated 3 months ago with the word fans in it, no problem. And today it's a problem. And this is the thing that you've got fan type sites who are moving away from adult because of the fact that they're getting constantly bombarded by the regulators who say you can't do this and you can't do that, and it all comes down to the income. It all comes down into who is taking that money. That's what it is. Right. And when you're talking about credit cards, you're talking about chargeback risks and compliance and things that we've known for many, many years that we try to mitigate. Sure. And so that's where all of that kind of comes from.
So what's the difference between a CMS and a live cam and fan platform?
So as you said, the X10 platform is an all-in-one. So it has all of those, right? So a CMS is traditionally just in our system, the way it works is we configure different logic on each type of theme.
Mhm.
So there's a theme that we deem to be a CMS type theme, and that CMS type theme is only allows content to be either turned on or off. So basically, you have trailer sections, and it's a very traditional looking. There's a home page and a
Mhm.
model page and a updates page and a photo and video page. And when you click on any individual content, you'll see a detail of that listing, and it'll have a title and a description and a screenshot. And
Mhm.
basically, that is what you're talking about. What a traditional CMS does in the adult space.
Mhm.
There's add to favorites, there's add content, there's
Mhm.
there's all the things that traditionally most CMSs do. But the crux of it is, and unless it's a CMS VOD hybrid, which it could be, but in most cases, as I said, there's premium content that you pay for, and then there's free stuff you can look at.
Mhm.
In some cases, you can, in the photo section, for example, and our system does all of this, of course.
Mhm.
If you want to only allocate, say, 2 or 3 images to be for free, and then have the rest to be paid, you can do all of that. If you want to add watermarks, you can do that.
Mhm.
Um, you can also offer them as digital downloads for a price, so that, like a zip file that they can download or not. You can make a photo gallery that basically expires after a certain amount of time. And of course, the video could be ingested either paying by the minute or by the clip or by time. So
Mhm.
let's say I want to expire the clip in a certain amount of time.
Sure.
That's really the CMS. The
Okay.
CAMs is all of that, but the focus then becomes who's live at the time. So instead of going to the homepage of a CMS, that you would see all of the photo video content updated, and what is the latest content, what's the top viewed content, that kind of thing. In the live cam platform, really the focus becomes who's live at the moment, and who isn't,
Right.
and that's the real focus. And
Mhm.
all the profile images are of the top models. And when you click on the top model, again, it has CMS functions in it, which are the paying for content, downloading a digital download file, or maybe even paying for a membership. But that gets into the membership of the entire site, not for the fans, which is this is the difference of the fans. So the cams might have a membership component where you can get access to a certain amount of content or discounted content.
Mhm.
So you might get 50% off of all content, photo video content within the system, if you pay X a monthly, or maybe instead of being $2.99 a month, you can do $1.99 if you're a member. We've done that for many years. We have basically tiered pricing on almost every kind of pricing, so that you can go in and choose. And this is, like I said, where it gets really, 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 really complicated,
Mhm.
to know what are you going to offer your users, and not to have 14 different options on your homepage. But
Sure.
the difference again, Bruce, is that we work directly with the clients.
Right.
We don't just we try to find out from them and spend time with them and say, what exactly is it that you want to do? What have you already doing? And in some cases, one of the things that we have had a lot of good success with is also porting over clients. So clients, our whole
Sure.
thing is, are you stuck in the muck?
Hmm.
Are you stuck in the old way of doing things? Can you actually go into using our free in one system to take you to the next level, where you're no longer stuck in just a one-dimensional CMS of open and close,
Mhm.
where you can actually offer, well, I'm going to offer all these other options.
Right.
The fan system just adds that component, but instead of being all the live models on the homepage, the models that are really the top rated models, and live is not really, there could be a live component to it, but it's really in the background. It's not the
Sure.
number one mechanism for making money. The number one mechanism in a fans platform is going to be the model membership. Really, that's the crux of it. So
Okay.
it's more interactive. So a live cam is interactive in the sense, if the model is live, you can talk to them. In the CMS, you might be able to review or comment on something. But the fan system, the idea of that is that you are joining that model, and that model is going to be available to you, to talk to you. For example, we've just added a questionnaire functionality, so
Mhm.
you can go in, and a model can actually make something like, would you like to see me wear this tonight? And yes, no, maybe, or choose your favorite color for me to wear, or something like that. And that is something that every user can contribute to and feel like they're a part of.
Right.
They can also request custom content. So the custom content can come from a direct user that says, I want to see this video, I want to see you in this video, and I'm willing to pay this much. And there's almost like an escrow system where it goes back and forth, where the user makes the request, the model says, yes, I'll charge this much. The user pays that much. That money is held until the model uploads the content, and then it is released once the content is accepted.
That's
so
awesome.
that is our custom content. I call it, I guess an escrow system.
Mm-hmm.
We've also added physical products to all the versions of the CMS,
Mm-hmm.
or the themes that we have. But like I said, it's really just, what is the focus on each type of CMS and or a business model, I should say, and what is the way that is the best way to make the most money. Obviously, the fans platform that we do push more than any of the free at the moment. It's funny how these things kind of go always in cycles.
Sure.
So we had CMS be so important, and then everyone went to cams, and now everyone's going to fans.
Sure.
And then maybe we'll go back to CMS. I don't know, but it always seems like to be in cycles. Right now, the fans is really, I think it's what it is. It's the encompassing a white mainstream feeling, very light on design, but it's ultimately the feeling of being not on an adult site. It's like maybe it triggers
Right.
people in certain ways where they don't feel like they're joining an adult site. I'm not joining, this, and it's also the feeling of not being part of a mega site. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be joining some big corporation that has all of these models. No, I'm just joining this one model, and I'm communicating with this one model,
Right.
On an individual basis. And that's
Right.
really the key, I think, is that sense of, because when you go to Twitter, for example, and there is a huge following for us anyway. This is part of the things that we always analyze, and we know that Twitter followers convert really well into fan followers, right? So people that look at stuff for free on Twitter, typically will convert pretty well into protected content. So if you're on Twitter and you have stuff that's out there that's teaser and not really the full length image or photo content, video content, and basically say, here, see more of me on this. Here's my fans profile.
Mm-hmm.
It converts really well because you're already interacting with that end person. Like that person's already tweeting with you. Mm-hmm. Oh, I really love that set of yours. I really love to see more. Oh, come see me here. And so it's kind of like that, what I call the funnel between, going into a social media account like Twitter, not like TikTok, like YouTube, even, where you're really doing things in a very soft way, but you're bringing people in. And we've seen that compared to, say, a model profile on a CAMS version or a CMS that might have the model's profile page, the fans convert so much more because the way we do it is, and as I've demoed to you the last version of how we do things, and me being someone that's very much into usability, is that I really get into full length, video. For the top of the profile page, full width on the screen, thinking about what are the most important icons to see first. What is the membership options that you can see first? And also for us, we have a blurred out version of all the content, so it's important for us to also, at least I've seen it convert really well. Where if not, a lot of fans, very traditional fan sites today, they don't show anything in the profile page, and I know some of that's because of SEO ranking and things of that nature. Which we talk to our clients about that, and they can always create subsites with our platform. So the idea of the free-in-one CMS is that you can create. There's no limit to how many domains you point to the platform, and the idea is that when you point it to one, each domain goes to that one platform. The admin basically can manage just by a click which content goes to which domain, right? So you could have all your niches and all your business models to go in different ways. So some models could be only on the fans or only in the CAMs or only on the CMS. And so this is really the architecture behind it.
So let's get down to the bottom line here. How can X10 make me more money if I have a site?
Right. Okay. So on twofold. So one is the on the side of the technology side, and the other one is on the marketing side. So on the technology side, the idea that we've always said is it's freeing you up from being able to just say, here is a traditional CMS. So typically there are two types of clients that will come to us. There'll be the clients as an established client, and they have 10, 5, one site, whatever. They have either a multitude of sites. Maybe they're running some kind of affiliate program. There's either going to be two ways they go. They're either going to be a licensed CMS already, or they made their own. And in most cases, they're just stuck. And what we do to make more money for them is to offer them a full turnkey package of not just marketing, but also support. How can we want to grow with your business? And in some cases, we actually do partnership deals where it's not just strictly a licensing deal, where we grow if you grow. Our retainer goes higher as yours does. Here is how much we can get you in an entry level on a platform, which includes in the instance of someone who already has a site, what is it going to cost for migration? How do we go and how do we move everything over to our system? What's it going to cost? How can we come in at a lower cost than that as part of our partnership, seeing that you've already got revenue, but also freeing you up from the limits that you might have right now because of whatever technical infrastructure you have. And those limits may just be because you've already had a CMS that you built that's really just antiquated and stuck, or it could be something that's really kind of a one-trick pony as opposed to our platform that isn't. Because we have an affiliate module, we have a newsletter module, we have, there's nothing under the sun that we haven't already put into our system. That very little that I've ever seen someone come to me and say, well, we only won't put it in if it doesn't make sense to us. But in most cases, we have everything. We've disabled most of the items because most people don't even use them. So that is how we are different. And the support that we provide is text, is phone. We are a U.S. company. We aren't out there. All our team is here that can help you. And we being a U.S. And having a European as well as here, having that ability to be present and to provide good support. That's really the difference. And it's text, it's Skype, and our conversations with our partner clients in many ways are two-way, and they're about growing their business. How will your business grow? And again, that encompasses the 100 years combined of our team to say, yes, don't do this, don't do that. This is what's working the best. This is what's working the least. This is what you should be doing today. This is not. Rather than, in many ways, being here is a system. Here's how much you're going to pay monthly, and here is how much money you could probably make because everybody else can kind of make that money. It's more about what is the bigger scope of how you want to, grow your business, really, and I think that's ultimately what it is. And it's also about being stable. So we offer options, as other CMSs do as well, where you can host it on your own server. We don't want to own, your world. If you want to manage it yourself, that's fine. We have APIs, you have templates, we provide almost everything you need in order to customize it yourself. So clients don't have to feel like they're locked into us. I think that's what it is. It's that feeling of being locked into something, which I hate. So I kind of built my own system for myself the way I would want to do it, and my own company the way that I want to do it, which is don't lock yourself into anything and be innovative.
Well, now why would someone host their own platform?
So in some cases, they might scale above what we can handle, right? So that's a custom client that might have 15 or 20 sites. They might be doing X amount that it's better for them to manage it themselves. They've got better deals, they've got relationships with the hosting companies, and they got higher scalability than we need to be, because we don't need to be in the middle of that.
Right.
Ours is kind of like a barrier to entry. So what we've done is take away every barrier to entry. We have hosting connections, we have billing connections, we have design connections. We have things that where you don't have to worry about those barriers get broken down so that you can. But on the flip side, there are people that come to us and say, "Oh, I want to buy the system out, and how much is that? And I want to host it myself, fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do my own billing company, fine." So every component has to. And then Bruce, typically those kinds of people are the people who have migrated from a social media or a what I call a tertiary platform. So using like a fans platform or a video platform or something like that, or a clips platform, where they're coming in from something else that they don't manage or control. And in some cases, maybe they've been okay, but they have friends that have lost their accounts or had their accounts banned or terminated or suspended. And so all of that comes from that fear. It comes from that sense of, I need to now manage and control my own domain, which is exactly what it is. If you're a brand that sends, and these clients typically are the ones that have, like I said, either bigger sites or they're established models that know they are a brand. They know that their social media is in 500K plus range, or a million even, as far as followers go. And they know who they are and what they are. And they want a platform like ours to say, I want to buy it, I want to control it. And so they don't even want us on the contract when it comes to the hosting, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because then they can move it to anywhere. So
well, I'm going to say, I will say you guys are extremely flexible, and you do definitely knock down the barriers to entry for sure. So give me a couple examples of how your platform's being used right now.
So we have one client who came from another CMS. They had will have 4 or 5 sites. Their niche is in the fetish niche, and they wanted a certain look. They actually gave us a very strict criteria and said, look, we already have so many users. We are already on this. We want to host it in this instance. We don't want to change hosting. We just want your system. And the problems of the current systems that they were using were lack of support, lack of accountability. That was coming from the CMS provider. So it was, we're not getting the response we want. How quickly if there's a problem on the CMS, they're blaming the hosting company. The hosting company is blaming the CMS, and they want all that to stop. This is their headache. Part of it also, they wanted to add the fans platform, so that was a real attractive thing to them. So it was solving multiple issues. So in this instance, we migrated over their design completely to mimic their original current design. So the user wouldn't even know that they were moving over to our CMS. That was one of the criteria. I mean, it's not 100%. It's probably 95% the same. Obviously, we're not going to rebuild the entire CMS to be this, functionality-wise. Some of our functions they don't have, but usability-wise and look-wise, everything was copied over, and content-wise, you're talking about 4 terabytes of content, and in this instance, and so that took about 3 or 4 months, and they went live. And switch over to Find. They have membership sites. They have a fans and a cam site. And so this is an instance of, and they're all running on the same admin on the one server, on the one on the one domain, on the multiple domain platform version that we have. And another client was similar to that, but on a higher level. So they have more sites. Everything was custom, had to be custom made. Nothing could be used from the original system that we have. Pretty much, they added new competition, for example, so users can click on a particular photo video set and of that week. So it's like a weekly competition, and then whoever wins the model gets a little bit of money from the a little bit of a bonus check. And these are all kind of custom modules that we had to create in this instance. And but it was very traditional adult. So it was, they have a kind of a girl version and a single girl and a glamour and a amateur. And so it was all of these, traditional niches in their membership world. But now they wanted to move to the fans, and they wanted everything to be combined at once. So when a model signs up, they check the boxes. So yes, I am amateur. Yes, I am glamour. Yes, I am this. Can I submit my content? And as I said to you, Bruce, the this company being the really on the cutting edge of billing and everything else that we've been doing, they're the ones coming to us saying everything has to be now approved, so we have to get that in place. But they were already doing it. So this company is based out of the UK, and they basically have in Europe, as I'm sure you know, the compliance is a lot more stricter, especially in the UK, than most of Europe and most of the world when it comes to adult. And so they had to, you just can't. For example, there's no real explicit nudity on their site unless you log in. There's no
Mhm.
there's a cookie agreement requirement. There's a
Sure.
enter exit page. There's all these things that are required, and on top of that, which they already had, which was when a model uploads a certain amount of content, any content, that kind of goes in a pending phase. It's sent. A message gets sent to the administrator. The administrator is able to go in and approve it, and then be able to put it live, basically. And I think
Sure.
that happens on every single stage.
Mhm.
But one
Mhm.
thing that's also key has been also the ability for the model to sell that content to the administrator. So even in the fans system, which is really a unique way to do things, is that in the fans platform themselves, the model can say, I have a piece of content that I would love to sell to the membership also. So I don't want, not beyond just selling it to my fans and get a percentage of. I would also have a buyout of whatever X dollar is going to be in order to sell that into the membership CMS, and the administrator can counter that. So we have that in place as well. So you can actually sell that content, which also has to be approved.
Okay.
Right. So
So
yeah.
So
Go ahead.
what about hackers? We hear about a lot about that these days, and security. How does your platform protect against these threats?
We have on the security side of things, we have the user side. We have the ability to block users via IP, via too many times that they've logged in incorrectly. Their user account can be suspended. Of course, the administrator can manage all of that. That's on the user side. On the model side, it's a similar thing where if you try to log in as a model too many times, that also gets suspended and blocked. On the admin side, of course, that also can happen. So we have these thresholds of how many times can you do something and then get blocked? How many times can you try to
Hmm.
brute force attack our admin or model or user login section? So that's the thing we've had for many years, because of client requests. Again,
Hmm.
one of the things that we've added to that in the recent years has been the administration area can be in a completely different domain than the main site, and that domain can be hidden from anyone externally only by either via VPN or IP address or by URL redirection, and so that there are ways
Hmm.
for us to make sure that no one can even get into the admin unless we want them to. Right, so we
Perfect.
can turn that off and on as much as we want. So
Hmm.
right to the IP, right down to a URL, right down to a subdomain or a subnet, not a subdomain, or even a subdomain. But so we
Hmm.
can create these different domains in order to protect the admin. The other thing we can do, what we've done recently, is we did a complete audit of our entire software
Hmm.
using it wasn't even an automated system. It was actually using a company that is really into finding weaknesses in our PHP scripts. So they look for like PHP injection, for example. Other PHP injection basically is can someone go into any of these scripts, for example, the login scripts, and be able to inject fake data and actually be able to either gain access or add data to the database constantly without it actually stopping, because that can clog up your server, for example, and
Hmm.
create a lot of denial service attacks. So we've just recently done that. We've just done an audit of that and fixing all of those issues, obviously going into the latest versions of PHP, which are always important, and just really trying to come up against every issue that comes up.
Hmm.
Protecting the content, of course. So we work with CDNs that will protect the content on on either a URL basis, so only that URL can actually pull that content,
Right.
or using some kind of session key in order to make sure that that content cannot be cannot be like stolen, basically. So you've got stolen content, user IP issues, and you've also got the side of the making sure that the scripts are the latest and the greatest. I mean, there's no, anything is hackable if you really want it to be.
Sure.
You have to just stay on top of it. And also, I'd also say that the way we've always done things, we don't collect any sensitive data. Like we let the banks and the credit card companies do that. We let the gateways handle those sides of things.
Sure.
Our sites are PCI compliant. So we do run those PCI tests just like we do our own gateway systems. So it is possible, but it also comes to Bruce, it comes down to also having, as you know, a really good relationship with good hosting companies.
Of course.
That really know security, that can go in and lock down these scripts, that can see when there is someone trying to interfere with the network or affect our network.
Okay. So what does it take for someone to start their own site?
Using our platform, all they need to do is sign up. We have a hosted version that it's a very low monthly price. It's really just like, it's a couple of $100 more than just hosting it yourself, really, or having your own host. So it's it's almost like for a couple of $100, you're getting your own license and a host. So it's almost, it's really low. And the idea is that you sign up, you point your domain to our platform, and you talk to us about what kind of version of our platform you want, whether it be the CMS, CAMs, or fans. And keep in mind, Bruce, those can be a hybrid. So there's no reason you can't have the CAMs on the top and the fans on the bottom and the CMS on the very bottom. I mean, it's not one trick pony. It's a fully hybrid system. In most cases, clients kind of tend to decide to do more than one domain for each CMS because users get really confused as to what they're joining and why. I think branding is very important, so it's not a good idea to do that. I mean, you can definitely merge CAMs and CMS for sure. You could do clips on the bottom, membership content on top, some model profiles below, and it makes total sense. Here are the live models, here are the clips that you can buy, and here's some membership stuff you can become a member and get access to. That makes total sense. I think the confusion becomes when you start doing the fans version, which is always why we say you should either have another domain or a subdomain, is because that needs to feel like a social media site more so than the main site or main sites. So sign up, add a logo, choose your colors, change your website info, contact us page, terms, conditions, privacy, etc. Go live. We train you on this. We'll sit down and we can actually do this for you, with you, if you need to. That's not a problem for us. And you get an hour of training when you sign up for the system. It depends on if you get an unlimited license version, then that can go up to 5 hours, which is a lot of hours to get up and running. So our whole thing is we just want you to get up and running. How do I sign up as a user? How do I sign up as a model? How do I change my logo? How do I change my colors? How do I change the pages on my site? That is really the crux of really what you need to know in order to go live is how do I become a model? How do I pay a model? How do I manage a model? And like I said, Bruce, before, we keep in mind we have painstakingly and always in flux trying to make the better and better and better version of the model dashboard to be the simplest, easiest. There's no training needed. There's not, it's simple. There's a profile page. There's a where do I change my pricing page? Where do I change my subscriptions page? Those are really created because we're mimicking other sites. We're seeing what everyone else is doing, and we don't want people to model specifically to become so far away from what is traditionally seen already to not feel that this is completely foreign to them, and that's a really really important part of it.
Sure. Absolutely. So, Claude, how can someone get a hold of you?
So it's Claude at X10Revenue.com. I have a phone number too. It's 818-851-1059. Or they can go to xrevenue.com or xplatform.com. We also have xcms.com, xcams.com, and xfans.com. So we've created sites for every kind of product as well, because some people have, it makes it easier for them to understand what is the system and what is the kind of platform that they want. So even though it is a friggin' one and you get all at once, we do market them at different sites because it makes it easier for some people who are, I'm looking for fans and I am catering to that kind of product.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Claude, I'd like to thank you again for being our guest today on Adult Side Broker Talk, and I hope we'll get a chance to do this again soon. My broker tip today is part 5 of how to buy an adult website. Last week, we talked about how to determine the value of a website, how to negotiate the sale, and how to get to the point of drawing up an agreement. So now you're talking to your attorney and you're having them draft an agreement. What should be in it? Well, your attorney will guide you through the legal side, but here are some considerations to keep in mind from a buying standpoint. What is the date you'd like to close? Make sure you know you'll have the money to either pay the deposit or the entire amount of the purchase by that date. I've had buyers who aren't ready, and that just causes issues. In fact, I went through one of those recently. Make sure that all the assets you're purchasing are in that agreement, such as every domain included in the sale, processing and payment accounts, relationships with vendors, all records including 2257 data, software to run the sites, and any other assets such as source code for the sites. Of course, it should spell out any payment schedule if there is one. Who is responsible for closing costs, such as paying for escrow? And there are always terms that are unique to yours and the seller's situation. This assumes you're the party responsible for drawing up the agreement. If the seller is drawing up the agreement, then it's important that you express all of this to your legal representative so they can check the seller's agreement and see if any changes are necessary. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week, we'll be talking to adult industry writer Ralph Greco. And that's it for this week's Adult Side Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Claude from X10. Talk to you again next week on Adult Side Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.